The most important interest that the US has in Afghanistan today is preventing it from becoming a sanctuary once again for global terrorist groups. Beyond that, the US obviously has an interest in seeing that the development gains of the last 20 years are not frittered away, especially with regards to human rights. But the core objective, the core interest still remains preventing Afghanistan from becoming a safe haven for terrorist groups that might operate either in the region or against US interests more broadly. The United States certainly has influence in Afghanistan, even though it has physically exited the country. The use of diplomatic recognition, the decision with respect to unfreezing Afghan assets, and how the US votes with respect to withdrawing UN sanctions on the Taliban leadership are all important sources of leverage that the US can exercise in the weeks and months ahead. The United States should certainly not recognize the Taliban now under any circumstances. Whether it does recognize the Taliban a few months from now will be determined entirely by Taliban behavior. And so Washington ought to pause, wait, and see how the Taliban regime conducts itself before it makes any determination about diplomatic recognition. The signs so far are not particularly promising. The kind of governance structures that were announced yesterday in Kabul and the personalities that populate them don't give a reason for confidence that this is going to be the moderate and inclusive regime that the Taliban leadership initially promised. Diplomatic recognition is the most powerful tool that the United States has to influence Taliban behavior. And until it is satisfied by that behavior, the Biden administration should not proceed with diplomatic recognition of this regime. I think US recognition of the Taliban will have profound repercussions. If the United States is seen as certifying the Taliban as a legitimate government, there will be many other players on the international stage who will follow. If Washington withholds recognition, it's possible that the only country that would recognize the Taliban would be Pakistan. And even there, I suspect there would be hesitation and diffidence. But if the US recognizes the Taliban, many of our allies will follow suit. And so our decision with respect to recognition is going to have both substantive and demonstrative effects. And therefore, it needs to be carefully thought through before it's made.